Hey everybody, got a pretty cool gun to share with you today. This one here is a gun by the Marlin Firearms Company out of North Haven, Connecticut. It is a Glenfield Model 25 bolt action rifle, chambered in .22 caliber, short and long rifle. Pretty sweet little gun. Actually, it's my father's gun. He grew up with this on the horse ranch he grew up on, and said he has killed many rats with this thing. And as you can see just by looking at the stock, it is pretty beat up. Sure my father put it through its trials during its days, but he let me borrow it, took it to the range, and it is a sweet little gun to shoot. We'll go ahead and take a look at it here real quick. So this gun does have a 21-inch barrel. It does have an 8-round detachable magazine, which I can deploy or release from the gun by the back here. There's a little release button on the magazine itself, and it releases out. And like I mentioned, it is an 8-round, just a little steel magazine. I guess these things are hard to come by. If you have this gun, hold on to these magazines because they're very difficult to find, and I guess a lot of people will pay a premium for them. So hold on to those if you can get them. It does have a sling attachment on the rear stock here, and a sling attachment on the front, which is kind of nice. I didn't receive a stock with or a sling with it, but that's okay. It is a walnut finish birch stock with plastic butt pad on the end, and I'll show you that here. It's just a standard butt pad, nothing special about that at all. Go ahead and flip it around. It does have a fixed front sight, which you can't see in here, but I'll go ahead and show you. There you go. Fixed front sight. And it does have an adjustable back sight, and if I can show you that here too. And I think what you do there is you knock that little wedge type thing backwards, and that will end up pushing up your rear sight for elevation. It is blued steel finish on barrel, chamber, and bolt housing. There is mounting rails here, and as you can see, and I'll take the scope off here and show you momentarily, but there's actually a notch cut here, and on the other side dovetail type notches where you're able to secure any sort of optics, I guess. This particular optics came with it. It is marked on there. You can see that Glenfield Model 4x15 optic-centered coated Japan is what it says. And I believe that is an optics that came with the gun, as far as I can tell from my research. It does have a silver tone trigger. There is a manual thumb safety on the weapon here, and you can see the silver tone trigger there. It does have a stainless steel bolt, which is real smooth, real short action there, as you can see. Just push it up into there and down again. From my research, according to the Marlin information, the serial number, this was made in 1970, but I guess there's varying answers on when this particular gun was made. The Glenfield model in particular was made under a few different names, but I guess the Glenfield model was made between somewhere 1970 or maybe as far back as even 1965, all the way until about 1982, I guess. But there are varied answers on when this model was made. But it actually is a model that's based off some previous models. It is modeled after the Marlin 80C and Marlin 780 rifles. And I found out also, as the Marlins manufactured from 1969 to 1990, you're able to identify the year of the making of the gun just by looking at the serial number. And on this particular one, you can see that it's here kind of on the housing there, and it's just the first 2 digits of the number, I guess, are the manufactured year on it. So this particular one, starting with a 70, was made in 1970. This model is actually pretty much still available today as the Marlin 925, I guess. So you can buy essentially the same version of the rifle as a Marlin 925. The current approximate value on this gun, depending on condition, if it's really good condition, it can be between about $75 and $110. But you know, in the condition that this one's probably in, you're probably looking at between $50, maybe top end $75 for someone who's maybe reminiscing on their childhood and really wants one or something. But we'll go ahead and break this gun down and we'll take a look at the inside of it. Okay, so to break apart this gun, it's supposed to be like any other bolt action reel of disassembly. You're supposed to be able to, bring the bolt up and bring it to the rearward position, engage the trigger, and it should be able to pull out. I've noticed that with this particular gun, I don't know if it's the model, I've done some research on it, that should be how it works. It does not work, and I'll show you exactly why that is. If you're having this same problem, there's actually an alternative way of doing this, and we'll go through that right now. So the first step that you want to do is you want to go ahead and get a flathead screwdriver. On the bottom of the gun, you'll notice there's the magazine plate here. On the magazine plate, there's going to be on the back part of it a larger screw. You want to go ahead and remove that larger screw. That larger screw actually holds the whole assembly into the stock. Which really is the one pin that breaks down the whole gun. So if you go ahead and remove that, and you can just go ahead and slide that off to the side if you can, like that. That way you know it's disengaged. At this point, this whole top action should remove apart from the stock, and as you can see, that was pretty darn easy. Nothing too special about the stock on the inside, just a standard cutout piece of wood. There isn't no markings or anything particularly unusual about it. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. At that point then, you're left kind of with the action, the bolt, you obviously still have the scope on there, we'll go ahead and take that off here in a minute, and the barrel. And it's nice to take these off. The one thing I noticed in this gun, and I haven't cleaned this gun yet since I've received it, but you notice there is some corrosive fouling and probably just more or less rust on the bottom side of this barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get that off and clean that up as nice as possible. This gun was probably never broken down like this, so I'll go ahead and polish up and clean up and lubricate a lot of these pieces in here and parts in here before I reassemble it. But I'm going to go ahead and take this scope off here real quick. Obviously you can see it's just done by some flathead screws, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the barrel and how to get the bolt action out. As you can see, it's still not going to allow me to remove it, so we'll go ahead and look at how to do that. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is an issue with this particular gun, if maybe it was broken or reassembled, or someone maybe put a different spring in here or something, but for whatever reason, when I pull this trigger back, it doesn't release this piece right here far enough down for my bolt to come back. It still locks it up, and it's kind of difficult for me to show you right here with two hands on it, but essentially I can't get it back by pulling on this trigger because it won't come down far enough. So what I've found is I have to do is take an actual screwdriver and put it in here and pry it down a little bit before I pull out, and I'll set it down and show you here how I do that. As I pull down, the bolt comes right out. And it's unfortunate that I have to do that because essentially for me to take the bolt out, I have to take this whole assembly out, which I guess fortunately with the Glenfield Model 25 isn't a huge deal. But again, I'm not too sure why the exact reason of that is, but as I don't know if you can see in there, that that assembly right there really sticks out quite a bit there. And I'm not too sure why it won't allow the bolt to release. But it is what it is. I'm still able to get the bolt out, so from this point it's just like cleaning any standard rifle. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put some stuff down the barrel, clean up the barrel, clean up the action here with a brush. It hasn't been done in forever, I'm sure, probably never actually. I'll go ahead and clean up the bolt here, take it apart if I can. I'm not going to screw around too much with taking apart this bolt just because I don't want to mess anything up with it. So I'll probably just clean up what I can with it from the outside, use some breakaway on the inside parts, and then oil to push out the breakaway and any other excess fouling that's left behind. Maybe wipe down the stock a little bit here with some cleaner, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I don't really think I'm going to get into a cleaning video, but I'll include some of the shooting that I've done with this, and hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks, guys.